Yo, what is up, everybody? Crumb's running a little bit late tonight. He will be joining us shortly. Fletcher, what's going on, dude? Suki, what's up? Ordinary Toys, what's up? Headcase Toys, Jazz Wizard. Hey, buddy.
Sorry, dude. Man.
How you doing, dude?
Dude, no alarm went. You ever wake up from a nap, look at the clock and go, oh, fuck.
Oh yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Oh yeah.
Jeez Louise. I am so sorry, B homies. 2 weeks in a row now here, man.
Dude, it was
My
you're
God.
right in there. You're right in time, dude. I just said what's up to everybody. I didn't even get through that, man. Jazz Wiz, Nikki's Death 6922, what up? Adam Pasquale 7954, what's going on? Kevin Colecuts, what's up, dog? Ashley, what's going on? Octeal Tattoo, what up, mate? What's going on with you, dude? Little nappy, man, just getting ready for the show. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. I've had a lot of health stuff going on the last 2 days, like escalated health stuff. So like, yeah, I'm beat, man, to be honest with you.
Mm.
And so yeah, you just caught me crashed out, man. No hat on too. Lucky for you guys. We got HAG on tonight. I'm sure you already talked about that. Is it KAG? Is it HAG? I was on their page. I noticed there's like a little bit of like is it KAG? Is it
It's KHAG. It's KHAG, and we chatted just for a few minutes before you jumped in, and he kind of told me where they got the name from. It's more simple than what you're thinking, so it's just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Bliss Receptor, what up, dude? Man, I saw a piece the other day. I can't remember who it was from, man, but I saw the piece and just the color layout. I was like, oh, that's Bliss Receptor, and it was not Bliss Receptor, but it was very Bliss Receptor-esque. And I think anybody that knows his work knows exactly what I'm talking about. So, anyways, anybody checked out Mo 2 this weekend? I saw it last week, and yeah, I saw it.
That's it. That's all there, eh? I did pull up. I don't know if any. We were talking about it last week. I did pull up a bunch of the Battle Cats of the Universe pieces as well. Speaking of
Oh,
Motu,
nice.
right? Yeah, it's not that I didn't include your piece. If you happen to be watching this and you're looking back, I know that Toy du Jour does have them uploaded. I believe some of them, but I didn't see all of them uploaded. But they're all up for viewing at Toy du Jour as well if you're in that area. We'll pull up a couple of the ones that are tagged there tonight as well.
Sweet. Are they selling those, or how is that working?
Oh goodness, now you're really poking. If I had to guess, they're on for sell. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Just like how the Faker show was.
Yeah. I don't know if they still do it the same way, man, but to get into those things, you used to have to, I think you had to be on their mailing list, and then they email you a code to get into the shop. I'm not sure if that's still the way that they do it or not, or at least to get into the pieces from that specific show. But anyways, yeah, I saw a few of those go by, man, and they were awesome. Or Mr. Ordner, yeah, I agree, man. A little jokey, loved it anyways. I think it's the best Motu thing to come out, to date. Of course, I think everybody has their criticisms of it, and I do, but I mean, it was cool. Not bad.
I mean, at the end of the day, respect to the franchise, right? They could have gone a lot of different ways for it. They could have been really silly and strange about it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and I think, what's cool too, man, is like I think there's a lot of stuff, of course, it's just the first one and characters and stuff that they left out, but definitely looks like there's going to be more. So, that's cool. Rudy Romero, what's up, man? I got your package going out tomorrow, dog. It's all boxed up and ready to go. He was the winner of the cheese piece. What was that called, man? From Toys on Tap. From Toys on Tap.
Oh, the Queso Jones.
Queso Jones, dude. I knew Queso was in there. Queso Jones, yeah. So that'll be cool. Queso Jones. There you go, man. There you go.
What do you have? I know we're gonna find out anyways, but are those two giant 8-bit mic pieces right beside you?
Now which piece we talking about? We going this side or we going this side?
That side there, it looks like you've got two of his desk wobblers or
These
something.
right here?
Yeah.
Dude, okay. So I saw this collector, Day Dallas. He's been posting a lot of stuff recently. I don't know if anybody here follows him. I'm sure you guys do. Um, yes, Mr. Ordinary, correct. But I saw him. He had posted a picture of his collection room, and there was a couple things that I saw in there, and I was like, "Whew, what a great idea!" So I went to. I don't. Do you guys have Hobby Lobby up there? Is that a thing?
We might. Not where I am, or not that I've seen.
Yeah, it's just an arts and crafts store, pretty much. They got a whole bunch of different stuff there. But one thing that they do have, I don't know if this is where he got his, but that's where I got mine. And dude, these were cheap. Dude, these were like $7. These glass dome. This fits. This is about a 4-inch figure in there. Uh, but dude, super cool. So I'm probably gonna get some more of those for like some individual pieces. But yeah. Anyways, that's what those two things are. Also, right here, man, check this out. That's the giveaway for tonight. The Mothman Larva. That is the new vinyl piece from HAG Toys.
We've said it
Sick.
before, and we'll say it 1,000 times again. That looks bigger than I expected.
Hey now. Hey now. Uh oh, craft store traders in illegal smuggled antiquities. Um I don't know if those are antiquities or not. I mean, I think they're mass produced. I think they might try to come off as that, but that's kind of how those stores are. Um
Uh, is that what they end up using? That's not in Friends, is it? That place Phoebe? No, that's Fossil, the Fossil store.
I don't know. I don't care for that show, dude. I don't watch that show, so I don't
Oh,
know.
that's totally valid. Yeah, if anything, I
Yeah.
just gave myself way of being super uncool knowing anything about that show.
No, dude, there's plenty of people that love that show. And whatever. I never caught on to that one.
You know what?
No, they
I'm
smuggled
just now cluing
antiquities.
in.
Oh, well.
Y'all are gonna go bonkers when we bring Kahag in here. The wall behind them looks colorful and dope. Oh,
Oh
it's got
my
a
god,
full
dude.
fucking wall behind there,
Bro.
man.
So
Sorry.
that's what we were talking about the displays, and I'm like, oh man, tell me about those displays, dude. So we were talking about, detolfs and glass shelving, and we just got into that, dude. But yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I don't know
Yep.
why this just came to me too. I don't know if anybody has seen it there. Have you seen the Chucky dolls that exist out there? Like the recently, there's somebody that's currently making them. Here, let me elaborate further. Yeah, right. Instead of rotocasting them or anything, they're making like these big, whole fucking solid resin bodies,
Oh
man.
wow.
And they're selling them for like $2,500. And like the
Solid resin?
craftsman, that's gonna. And then when you look at the craftsmanship and you see like the
Whoa.
seam line down the back and shit, and like knowing how molds work and everything, you're looking at this thing just like rolling your eyes, being like, I get it. It's gonna have clothing on, but holy, for $2,500, I'm sorry. Like, I'd want the legs to be where they're supposed to be. I'd want the seams to be, but all that. Some of you dudes, I don't think you understand like the techniques that you've actually learned. What you could be doing with some of those techniques. I suppose it's interesting to see.
Yeah. God, dude, solid resin on that. That's nuts. 2,500. I mean, come on now.
We're gonna
I
show up
mean, if
some
you can
pieces
get it, I
later.
guess, right? But holy
I
shit, dude. Like anybody who makes that stuff, like if we're sitting here talking about it, we're like just like, all right, well, man, 2,500 bucks. You might have to explain that one to me.
There's a reason dolls are hollow, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. And what size did you say they were?
They're supposed to be like those actually like anatomically correct heighted dolls and stuff. They're like model dolls, almost like you'd have on displays
Hmm.
and stuff.
Yeah,
Anyways, yeah,
interesting. Hmm.
interesting, absolutely.
Interesting.
Hey, do you have some KHAG toys? I still feel like I'm saying that wrong. Do you have some in your collection?
K-Hag, I do have yeah, this is one that I picked up at
I love that
Assembly
noise.
Required in Asheville this year.
It's
Sick,
gorgeous,
dude.
man.
Yeah, this one
Yeah.
is in a few different colorways that they have. I think I put one in our stories today, the one that's white and gold.
There's
But
something really appealing about that freaking pearlescent white. Yeah, that like
yeah, dude,
cream
very
with a
cool.
gold pop. Yeah, that's sharp.
I agree. So yeah, they had just done a interview with Connor Graves. Connor Graves has that newsletter coming out now. And that I was going through that a little bit, dude, and they kind of talked about the design of that and where that came from, which is very cool. We'll get to that as well. And I think Ashley hit it right there. The fur, yeah, it kind of comes from like the old Monster Man suits and stuff, which is cool. Micah, what's going on, dog? Abaddon, what's up? Folklore, what's going on, dude?
Very plant like, very leaf like.
Yeah.
The fur.
What's been going on with you,
Flavor feels
dog?
great. Again, dude, last 2 days have been like a complete write off. Um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be laughing even at the end of this. I can't believe this 2 weeks in a row, man. Time doesn't exist anymore. I am on another planet these days.
Yeah,
You?
it's flying by. Well, yeah, dude. I mean, today's the first day. Like, I think we hit 100 today for the first time. But 2 days ago it rained, so go figure that. I don't know. It's just kind of odd weather, right? But anytime it gets above that, dude, like, yeah, like you
Yeah.
don't go hang out outside, you know?
Not to be old man about it, but the weather right now, stupid. We all saw it. Like we were looking at it all yesterday, just being like, no. So 30, I think for us is probably near like 96, 98, I believe, if I had to
Ugh.
guess. Maybe it breaks the 100. I don't know. But I know we were at 30 with rain. It was one of those things where it's like, be ready for it to
Mm,
rain all day, but it's gonna be humid as all shit and hot, and you're just all day today. It's like, oh fuck, summer's here, man. Well,
yeah.
and as I say that, wearing the sweater, a beanie,
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
oh, summer's hot.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. It's hot in here. Well, you do have a sweatshirt on and it's 100 degrees outside. Um,
There it is, man.
anyways,
You wanna pull K-Hag in here and we'll just get this show rolling on the road?
let's do
Or
it.
you got 30C 86? What the fuck do I know, right? Slipshot
Yeah, that's
average.
still
Thanks for
kind of
that,
warm.
man.
That's still kind of warm. Hey, coming out of the snow, man, from going from snow to 86 in a week or two, that's pretty hot, dude. That probably felt like 186.
You know it's gonna be nuts. The fucking Pride this month, right? Fuck, that shit goes nuts down here, man.
Oh, in Toronto?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, no disrespect for anybody who's watching this back and is like, Crumbs rolled their eyes. He's fucking a mega supporter. It's like it's not that. It's not that. You put thousands of people in one small area any time of the year. I'm gonna be sitting there going, what the fuck? It's
Well,
just a lot of humans.
and maybe you should dive in a little even further and say, you work down there, and so like the
Yeah,
numbers that it
yeah,
creates is I think that's where your
dude.
frustration comes from, where it would be any type of parade, no matter what it is, just the amount of people going down there is just. I'm sure working in retail like that. You know what's interesting though, man, is that's like that type of thing. That's what keeps a lot of small towns, especially on the coast here, sometimes in business. You know what I mean? It's a very
Yeah,
seasonal thing.
yeah,
And sometimes there's events that happen and it's like, they're making tons of money in just a couple months or even at an event just to, kind of keep things going. So,
yeah, absolutely. And you know what? At the end of the day, like you're saying, it's revenue. It's a celebration, I suppose. And it's always great to see that can happen. It's just a lot of fucking people.
a lot of people, man. A lot of people. A lot of people. Release the K
Hey,
HAG, says Nikki. Let's do that.
there it is. Yeah. Okay. Hey, you ready to come on in there, friend? Beauty. Hey, what's going on, man?
How's it going?
It goes great. You want to introduce yourself to the homies at home there?
Yeah. So I'm Kylan. I'm half of KHAG. We're actually two guys, and our initials together make up the KHAG. I'm the KH. Alex is the AG. Together, we kind of collaborate on the whole creative process. He does a lot of the drawing and the sculpting. I work on him with the concepts, and I deal with all the business side, deal with the production, and then I get to do the fun stuff of painting and then packaging, and then ultimately we get to come together for the different shows we go to and sell our toys and work on new concepts and stuff there.
Damn, professionally put there, man.
Dude, that background, like, I don't want to get off topic right away, but just briefly describe what this absolute gorgeous madness is.
Yeah, so most of this is vinyl. We got like an Octio Kaiju cream up there. I see he's in the chat.
Very cool, dude. Oof.
Yeah, so I'm a vinyl collector. I've been a collector for many years, long before I started doing toys, and that's just kind of what I've always been really into. And I started with a lot of the more realistic figures, and then I had a couple of these, soft vinyl or Sofubi figures that were in my collection that were very brightly colored. And as I was looking at that wall of like grays and browns, I'm like, I need more color pops. And so as I added more and more of those, I kept getting rid of all of the realistic, figures, the screen accurate, looking ones, and kind of focused in on this side of collecting, which has been an interesting, rabbit hole to go down. So very much focused on Godzilla stuff when I started, and as I started learning more about the world of soft vinyl toys, started to wrap in some independent toy makers and some original designs. I think if I can figure out where I'm at, like this shelf over here is all Yamamark stuff.
Oh, nice.
A lot of their aesthetic, I really like, and was kind of the same stuff that I'm trying to do, where we emulate like that man in suit, classic tokusatsu film. But yeah, just always loved vinyl, and that's what I wanted to get into.
Man, dude, that is wild. There is some you said just going down the rabbit hole. I mean, ain't it though, man? Like I think it took me, I kind of tried to refrain actually from getting into vinyl because I was so into resin. And then when you start looking into vinyl, it's like a little bit more, then a little bit more. And then next thing you know, your feed is nothing but vinyl. And it's just like, I feel like I've only scratched the surface of, and I've been doing it pretty hard for a few months now. And it's like, it's unreal, dude. But it's the figures, the colors, the customs that come out of those, the blanks that people paint. Dude, it is instantly addicting. It's nuts.
Yeah, I've got a few in here that there's like multiples of, just because it's like I love the sculpt, so seeing what different like colorways and stuff go on that. So it can easily go down a rabbit hole with that, and that's been kind of one of those fun ways to keep the sculpt going, is the different paint jobs. I know you showed off the green one, and this pearl one, that we were looking at online. This one's actually on a glow in the dark vinyl base. So you light that up with UV, and then that one glows, and it's pretty slick.
Yeah. So let's jump into the figure making portion, man. How did that all come about? Now, a lot of people, I think, I can't say a lot because I really don't know, but just from the artists that we talked to, it seems like there's this progression from like resin or just kind of toy design in general, and resin, then up into Fubi. And I know that you haven't done any resin work, correct? You just went right into got it. Okay.
And that was intentional. So like when I said I wanted to do toys, everybody said, start in resin, do your time, build up an audience. And then once you've figured all this out, then go to soft vinyl. But it's like, I know if I'd done that, I'd never make it to soft vinyl. Yeah. And that's what I was passionate about. That's what I like. So I said, if I started there, I was never going to get there. So it was something that I've been wanting to do for years. When I looked into it online, there was not a lot of info out there about it. I think Crumbs talked about this before, where it's like, not that long ago, you'd look at an artist's video and they talk about their process, and they'd have like tape covering their labels and stuff. And it's like, okay, then, they're just gatekeeping everything. But I think this new, era of artists has been a lot more open. I was at a collectors gathering in Baltimore, and they had invited over a number of different collectors and toy makers. And Garden State Kaiju was there, and they had just recently produced their first figure, the Mud Belly, which has got a pretty fascinating story behind it. But I started talking to him about the production part, and like, hey, I really want to do this, but it's like every factory I look at is like these massive MOQs, and it's like I don't think I'm going to sell 500 of anything that I make. Yeah. And that's like the low end of these things. And so he kind of walked me through, some of what he had done and what some other people were doing in the space, and that was a good kind of intro to get started. So. From there, I had some ideas and a big conceit that we had kind of worked up. And I reached out to my buddy Alex, and we've been friends for like 20 years online. We met through collectors forums, like toy forums. And so like we live 500 miles apart, but we've been friends for 20 years. We go back and forth. Hey, did you see this? Did you see that?
Sure.
And he's a great artist. And so I sent him this horrible sketch, and I said, this is what I'd like to make. Is there any way, we can do, something with this? And
Oh,
so
dude.
I sent him this, and this is like the level of my
Did he freeze right there?
Yes. So something like that. And so you can see this isn't necessarily what we ended up with, but this is very close to my original design. And so he came back with, let's change the mouth. Let's, do a crab mouth where it's horizontal or vertical instead of horizontal. So that was kind of one of the first changes we made. And then that second change was the lower legs, making them more like the swimmerettes or the other legs that the crabs have, rather than having double claws. So those were some of like the initial things. And at that point, it was like, I think we're on to something. I really love this design. Let's move forward with it. So like at that point, I kind of talked to him about, this idea that I had. It's like I wanted to, and I think a lot of people have this idea. It's like we need, monsters in the U.S. We grew up with all these Japanese monsters, but like, what about like U.S. monsters? You think about that as a kid, right? And so it's like, let's do a different one for each state. And I'm based out of Maryland, so this is my crab monster.
Nice.
So it was like, this kind of gives us like a really wide, area to pull lots of different design ideas. We looked at things like, different things that are popular in states, different cryptids. Like in Maryland, crab culture is real big. You drive around Maryland, you see, crab bumper stickers, crab T-shirts, crab everything. There's kind of the cult of crab around the Chesapeake Bay. And so that was kind of our first design that we went with. And from there, he fleshed out the design more. We initially had sculpted, or had planned on having that second set of arms be articulated. And this is kind of an area that we changed mid-design, just because the whole process for doing soft vinyl is very expensive.
Sure.
This was kind of our first run out. So we ended up saving hundreds of dollars by fixing those legs to the body rather than having those as separate molds. So it's got 3D sculpted out. And then we sent it off to the factory. They basically 3D print, your figure, and then they turn that into a wax. And then we get, back each step of the way, for approvals, and they sent us all the different angles for that. And this was really cool, kind of seeing the toy come together for the first time.
Yeah.
And then like actually seeing the foot stamp on there. And I don't know if you're, been a collector forever, like seeing your logo on the foot stamp was like a huge moment. Like that was almost bigger than like opening the box for the first time and holding it in hands. And so that was really cool. But yeah, that was kind of the process we took for that. And then, ultimately this is what came out, was the Chesapeake was the name. And there's actually, there's a pun behind that. So we're at the Chesapeake Bay, and the scientific name for a crab's claws is a chella, and then he's a giant monster, so mountain peak. So it's a pun that kind of works on a couple levels, and that's
nice.
There's a lot of Ultraman characters that are named similarly, where they take different suffixes from words and tie them together to make a new monster name. So kind of goes back to a lot of our influences with tokusatsu and different series like Ultraman and Kamen Rider and the Godzilla franchise, obviously. But yeah, so Alex and I worked on that. We got the figures back. He did the artwork for the header card as well, which is a slightly different style. And then once we got those back, I started painting those. So when we get the pieces, they're uncut vinyl. So we have to trim these down, like trim off the flashing, remove the spots for the arms. And then for some of it, I had to do some hand masking. For some of it, I like got actual physical masks. So for things like the eyes,
Oh wow, yeah.
get that in there to try to get that little space just perfect with the airbrush.
Where did
Now,
you get
did
your
you have?
masking?
Yeah, go ahead.
Where'd you get your masking done, if I may?
So that you get done at the factory, and that was one of those
okay.
questions that I had for years that people just wouldn't answer. And I'd like been on like live streams with Sophie artists or stuff where like they would say, "Oh, ask me anything," and I would always ask about masks, and they would never answer that question. Like, where did you get those? Those metal masks? But they make those at the time that they they have it in the factory making the molds. So it's like you kind of like that's your time to do it, and if you get it and you realize, oh, I should have gotten masks, it might be too late.
Interesting. Yeah, thank you, dude. Honestly, nobody's ever shared that with us, like you were saying. So I appreciate you letting us know that, man. That's fucking mind blowing.
Yeah, so like I kind of went a little overboard with Chesapeake on masks. I got a few masks that I thought I needed that ultimately, now that I'm better with an airbrush and I've spent a lot of time doing it, that I didn't need. And as I've painted more and more of them, I don't necessarily use all the masks that I spent the money on. But that let me know going forward what I could kind of get away with, what was quick to hand mask and what's not quick to hand mask. And this is again like jumping right into soft vinyl without doing anything first. I could have probably learned these lessons much cheaper and another medium.
That's what I was going to ask is, did you have any experience airbrushing or anything before that, or did you just say, hey, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to have to paint them as well?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Was I started looking at like what it would cost to have somebody else airbrush it or paint it, right? And then was trying to keep the cost of these things low. And all the upfront costs on soft vinyl are fairly large, and so you make that back over time with how many you sell. But like looking at how much that would make each figure cost, I'm like, I'm never going to sell anything at these prices, so I need to learn to paint. And that was something that at first was kind of a necessity, but now it's like something I look forward to. It's like I'm sitting at my day job going, I wish I was at home painting.
Yeah.
And not because I've got a show coming up, but just because like I want to go paint something. So and I've got some Godzilla stuff that I've painted that and then some stuff that I want to paint, some collabs that I've tried working on that aren't quite ready to show, but yeah, but I'm enjoying that aspect a lot more than I thought I initially would.
Yeah. So so let's back up to the kind of like the creation of the figure. It sounds like you're going. So this is going to, I mean, like you said, it gives you a lot to work with as far as doing one thing per state. And is that kind of like the plan going forward as far as like the concept for each figure? The Mothman would be from.
So the Mothman larva is from West Virginia, and so this one is a little bit more cryptid leaning. So we started off, Alex is an amazing artist. Like his stuff is just different. I love it. It's great. But he had done this Mothman art that just for the heck of it. Like this wasn't related to the project.
Wow, that's cool.
But I saw this and it was like, I loved what he like had done with like the eye area for it. And I'm like, we need to make this figure. But how do we set it aside from being just another, Mothman? And so the idea kind of came up with, where do Mothman come from? Are they like owls? Do they come from, eggs and hatched? Are they like moths? Do they come from larvae? Are they like moth kids running around that grow into Mothmen? So kind of just like one of those stupid conversations you have that then like grew into something, much larger than that. And so we came up with the idea of the Mothman larva. And threw around a bunch of ideas on that. And if you've seen us at any show except Wonderfest, we've had a 3D sculpt of this out for people to see of the full-size Mothman larva. And we never really pressed the go button on that because we're trying to get it more toyetic. Like, how do you have that toy feel, like that little bit of play to it, or that in-hand feel that's not just like a sculpture. And with his kind of stubby legs, there really wasn't much to it. So we've reworked the sculpt a little bit to try to put some like head motion in it, and still working on the adult version of that sculpt. But while we were at 5 Points Fest and, looking at our table with these, $100 figures and, people, gasping at the price. And it's like, we need something cheaper on the table. So that's where we kind of decided, let's do finger puppets. So this was at 5 Points. Like, we did some sketches out. This Alex was just like popping them out while we're sitting there. So this is like the first ever sketch of the Mothman larva, and it's not that far from where we actually ended up with the actual sculpt. There's four other characters on here. Our Kentucky monsters in there, another Kentucky monster, a New York monster, and then an Idaho monster. But that was kind of what we decided. It would be a little bit cuter, a little bit chibi style or super deformed style. And that's what we were going to do for the finger puppet. And then Alex sculpted this all out. He did this all in Nomad.
Wow.
And so this was pretty much the finished product. This is the sculpt that we sent off to the factory and said, this is what we want to make. We want to make it a finger puppet, and trying to figure out 10, 12 centimeters long. What does that look like? What can we get away with and still keep the price at that $30 or less mark?
Yeah.
So yeah, Crumbs, you were saying it's bigger than you thought. That's what we were trying to go for, was like, how do we make a finger puppet that feels like it's worth the money but still be a single piece pull? And so yeah, that's what we did there.
Super cool, man. And now, what's Alex's background in 3D sculpting?
He took it up just for this project. That's what kind of artist he is. He's just amazing. Like, it sometimes it's like it drives me nuts how quickly he does this stuff. And so some of the sculpts that he's working on now, I wish I could show you, because like coming off of Wonderfest, we had 3 other ideas, and like he's just rolling through them, and it's like these are going straight to the front of the line. These sculpts are amazing because just how quickly he's advanced in Nomad from where we started. Yeah, so it's been awesome. So we have an Idaho monster, which we kind of showed off some concept art from at Wonderfest. We got a New York monster, which we showed off, and then while we were sitting there, just was talking, one of the concepts that we played with for a while that we just couldn't quite land on, we kind of ran through a blender and completely reworked it, and it's going to be pretty cool, and it's for Utah. So work in different states, and that's kind of been one of the nice things, is if we hit like a blocker, we put it down and we switch to something else. So like the Kentucky monster we had was based on the Mammoth Caves, and we have a 3D sculpt for that. Alex did that as well. And we were ready to go forward with it. It was going to be the same size as the Chesapeake, but the mold costs ended up being substantially more because we worked into a toy gimmick, and it ended up being like 13 pieces total versus the 5 pieces that Chesapeake was. So right as we were like getting quotes and stuff for that, the all the tariff stuff hit.
Sure.
Like we were getting our stuff produced in the US, so we were paying for molds to be shipped over, and molds being the most expensive part, it was actually cheaper for us not to produce in the US and just to get castings shipped.
Sure.
So we at that point put that character on hold, and hopefully everything normalizes and gets back, and we can get that more expensive molds over and pulled here in the US. But yeah, trying to work a few different things in that space. But yeah, it's been interesting.
What's that time frame from when you guys decided to make something to actually getting product in your hand? It seems like it's been going pretty quick, right?
No. So that's the thing.
No, complete opposite, actually.
So how long do you think we've been doing this? The answer is 3 years. So
okay.
Yeah, you just started seeing me on the scene last, I think June we made our debut, and so it's been probably 2 years getting up to that point. Some of that was self-inflicted, like learning as you go. Some of that is just the process is terribly slow. And I talked about like gatekeeping beforehand. The one thing that I kind of still understand the gatekeeping wise is like your factory, because the more people that are in your factory, like the longer your wait time is before your stuff can get pulled. So I kind of get that, like, hey, yeah, I'll tell you if I had a good experience with them, but I understand not wanting to add more people in front of you in line, because it's like, my mold's already made. I just want more castings, but the list of people that are in front of me for castings is long. So we do have another order of Cello Peaks that'll be marbled coming out later this year. Hopefully this year. It's in the list. So trying to get those out for a show we're doing in October. That's probably the longest pole in the tent is going through the factory piece. So like once it's back in hand, then it's all on me to do the assembly and the painting. Meanwhile, Alex is back in the monster workshop, just cranking out new concepts for me to get into the factory.
Yeah. I think that's completely understandable, man. With the, I think I've talked to a lot of vinyl artists recently, and they said that exact same thing about not really letting people know where your factory is. I know a lot of people are using Rabbit Giant Safubi, and it seems like there's more and more people. And then you start talking to artists, and they're like, yeah, their lead times are getting a little bit further and further out. And then that's a really quick example of why. But I think even in like a whole bunch of different things, like even the collecting community, like if you have a source that you're going to, you don't necessarily, you want to let everybody know that you have it, but you don't necessarily want to know.
Right.
You don't
let me
wanna
get mine first, and then you can.
Exactly. I'll let you know maybe someday.
Exactly. We've got two good questions in the chat here, man. Fuck Toys was asking, how do masks typically compare in price to molds? And then also Ashley Kate Alvarado asking, do the factories put smaller jobs aside for ones that bring in more revenue? And that one's a tough one, because I do believe that one would be if they've got like large commercial projects. But I mean, that might depend on every job. But in your experience,
so that's a real good question. Both of those are good questions. So the masks are still expensive. They aren't mold cost wise, but they are in the hundreds for masks. So like maybe a simple eye mask would be like maybe $80 or something. It depends on the factory you're going through. The other part of that that Ashley asked about, that was kind of one of the challenges getting into this, is you have these factories that have these minimum order quantities, these MOQs, and it's like, if you got to find a factory that's willing to take low MOQs, like I only want 30 of this colorway, and some factories won't even entertain you at that level. They'll say, we need bigger jobs than that. So that's kind of one of the challenges, and I think that's why places like Rabbit Giant and Mile High and stuff get backed up, is because they do have these low runs, and a lot of toy designers want to work with that rather than doing like the investment into 500 or 1,000 pieces. And how do you move that with like an original character in a relatively niche scene?
There was another comment right now. Yeah, there you go, from Nick. Throughout the entire process, were there any challenges that surprised you? I mean, with it all being brand new, I would figure that almost everything was a surprise to you. Being kind of the first time around for everything.
Yeah, so Alex and I joke regularly, that's another lesson learned, and we'll do everything different next time. And then the next time we do everything wrong again, and it's another lesson learned. So basically anything that we can do wrong, we do wrong. And that's part of, I guess, the learning process. I think I've called out a few things already, as far as like, kind of not knowing what I could get away with painting before I ordered masks was a big mistake. I should have spent more time on that. I guess one thing I would say is, be happy with your sculpt, because you're going to spend a lot of time with it. Sure. Like I said, it's been 3 years on Cello Peak since the day that that first sketch came about to today. So like you're going to spend a lot of time with that sculpt. So be happy with it. If I could do it all over again, I'd probably have those lower arms move. And that would probably drive up the price, obviously even more. But that's my figure. That's what I'm painting, and I think now it would be worth it, because you can look at how that gets spread out over the release. But that's really the only thing I'd probably do different on this, other than all the the wasted paint and other mistakes that I made that are fixable and just
Hey, lesson
learning
learned, right?
experiences. Yeah. And having smaller pieces too is good. I see a lot of these new soft vinyl artists go straight for the big piece, like, because hey, I love big pieces. I want big pieces in my collection, but you don't have room for a ton of big pieces. If collectors only have so much space. So if you're like just getting out there, I'd say probably start smaller than this. Like at least he's thin, so like he doesn't have a
Yeah.
big footprint on the shelf,
Sure.
width-wise, so he can stand in the back row, put him on a riser, and he's looking over people. But like some of these like quadrupeds where you've got like 4 legs and a tail, it's like that takes up a massive amount of space.
Dude, we were talking about the detolfs before, man. I have a few pieces that like you can only get one piece in there, and
Right.
that's a lot of real estate, man.
Exactly.
Do you think that has, I mean, being a collector first, before you started the toy making process, do you think that gave you a little bit of an advantage for reasons like you just said, man, like how much real estate they take up on the shelf? I mean, obviously you keep that in mind with your own collection behind you, man. You can only do so much on there, but
Right.
you think that's kind of shifted the way that you kind of do the toy design, or that Alex does?
Yeah, so I think having hands-on, and then I think it's actually the opposite's true, that being a toy designer has changed the way that I've collected.
Oh, okay.
So there's stuff now that like now that we're doing toy design, like I see shortcuts and stuff in some figures,
Sure.
and it's like it used to be, oh yeah, that's fine, but now I see it and it's like, oh, why did you do it that way? And I'm not going to call out anything in particular, but it has switched the way I collect now that I see, certain tools or choices being made in the design process that it's like, okay, I don't necessarily want that toy, and maybe in the past I would have jumped on that. There's things that having like that in hand feel I think is important to me, like that toyetic element, and that's
Sure.
kind of what stopped me from pulling the trigger on the full size Mothman larva. Is like it still feels like a statue, and like something that you can have in hand and play with. I mean, I'm not playing with this stuff. It's going on a shelf, right?
Sure.
But it's like
Sure.
being able to pick it up. It's like that tickles that toy vibe of why I'm a collector, right?
Yeah.
I'm not collecting sculptures straight up, but it's like I'm collecting toys, and there's that element of play that you kind of want to still be there. So that's why I'm happy that we're chasing down that gimmick on our Kentucky monster, and that's still going to happen. We just got to make it so that it's not $300 out the door for people.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a toy maker that's going to go to a show with $300 toys and people will be just like, give me that.
That's another good question, man, is how much I know just from reading the Connor Graves stuff, man, you guys kind of talked about pricing a little bit, and how does that influence what you do? I know that you said with the other arms on the Chesapeake, you took those out. And I'm sure there was probably some extra cost involved with there
Yeah.
as well as the legs. But does that, I mean, it obviously you want to have something right in there. And for me, man, I think that's one of the appeals for me of vinyl from the States is the price point. For whatever reason. I mean, I know there's really expensive stuff out there, but it just seems like it's a whole different ball game, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we are looking at that for design. And I was just talking with Alex a couple hours ago. We're going back and forth on one of the new things that came out of our Wonderfest, design session. And it's like, well, if we change the toes this direction, it'll all be one piece. But if we keep them this direction, we're going to have to pull that as a separate piece. So part of like understanding that like mold pulling process and what's going to lock in the mold and where to make, changes to the design. So we do keep that in mind, and it's kind of, we go back to like those lower arms. Is it worth it? Is it worth paying, that extra price for that design element? Or is it, something that if we just, shave this down or change the angle of it, it's effectively the same, and, let's do that instead. So, we've already made changes based on the manufacturing process to try to keep it to the least pieces possible to keep those prices down. And sometimes it's like, hey, it's worth it. Like one of the figures that we're working on, we were just like, if we add in one more joint, we'll be able to do some, cooler stuff with it as far as like how these pieces overlap and such. So we were like, yeah, we wanted to keep this as like a mid price between the two, but like let's maybe just bump it up to make it a worthwhile toy.
Sure.
If I may, with working on different sculpts like that, and we've got a question I'll jump to in a second there as well, but do you guys keep in mind swappability when you're doing sculpts?
Not at all. So I know
okay.
that's super popular, and that's real big, and people have recommended that I do that. But I think we're very character focused, and part of what we Alex is really great like lore and stuff, like building the world behind it. So like we have like a little comic book that we came out with, the first issue, the second issue is being worked, and it's our initials HAG came the company name, but we also created a character called the HAG, who's kind of like this like Rita Repulsa crossed with the Crypt Keeper, and she sends like monsters to attack the states, and so like that's all in the comic. We shameless plug there.
Oh, nice, very cool.
So yeah, so we got those out, at the shows, and so that'll have kind of like a little bit about like how the characters like show up and attack. But at the back of that, we decided to take some extra pages and just do kind of that behind the scenes, like this is how toys are made. This is the story behind
that's really fucking cool.
Yeah. Man. So we've been having a lot of fun with that. I think people have been responding very well to that at shows and stuff. I haven't really shown that off on Instagram much, and maybe we need to, but that's something that it shows. People who aren't toy collectors, that are comic collectors or indie comic collectors, they jump right on that. And then some people just get so excited about like the behind the scenes stuff, like they're like, yeah, I want more of that. So
very cool, man. We're gonna look at a magazine tonight from Hobo Toys, but he did a couple pages in there just on artists and how they came up with their name, which is very interesting, man. That little kind of behind the scenes type stuff. Would you say that the comic is pushing the toys, or vice versa? Which one's coming first?
So the toys are driving the comic.
Okay.
So it's very much we're a toy company, like we make toys, but kind of like those old Kenner toys that would come with little inserts. Like the initial idea was just a little 4-page, like, oh, it's it's the Chesapeake monster, and like the KAG would call it out, and of course it grew from there. So as more monsters come up, the story's gotten to be much more epic. So now it's a multi-issue story. But it's definitely the toys that are driving the comic. And so as we've mapped out the next X number of monsters, I don't want to count right now. But as we've mapped out these monsters, we're like, okay, how do we work them earlier into the story? So it seems like we actually planned this all along.
Yeah. Nick had another question on there about just design and influences and stuff. Before the show, I landed on Ragnar Squad's page, and I was just flipping through their store, man, and I saw some of the Chesapeakes that they have that are painted. Not that they were an influence, but people, painting it afterwards. And those were, I mean, he's got a few on there that they look completely different.
So that was really cool. That's cool. So I gave out a few different Chesapeakes to artists that I like and stuff. And so Ragnar, so Chris over at Ragnar Squad, he painted up a couple, and those were out at Monster Palooza. I think he's just put those up for sale on his site.
Yeah.
So those were awesome designs. Like I had my idea in mind, and I followed that, and then I followed variants of that. So seeing other artists do it has been cool. Octeal, who did the Kaiju Cream and one of the figures that you had last week, he's actually painted one up. I'm going to get that from him here in July, and that's one that it's like I'm going to sell it, but at the same time it's like I want to keep it. But he painted it like completely different than I would have painted it as well. So it's like as soon as I saw it, it's like I messaged, I'm like, hey, I'm going to steal that back design because I love that. That's cool. I didn't think of that, you
Yeah.
know. And then Connor Graves, you know, we talked with him.
Yeah. Oh,
So
very
he,
nice, dude.
yeah, so he painted this one up.
Ooh.
And so it looks pretty sick. And this is another one where it's like I'm supposed to sell it, but it's like, you know,
Dude, I love the little
don't get off your own
red
supply,
on there,
right?
dude.
So yeah, he did an incredible job with this, but
Damn.
and like I don't know if you've seen how he paints, but like his masking is super loose, but his line work is so good that it's like, gosh, I hate you. I don't hate you, Connor. No, that's awesome. But no, it's great. So we got that collab. So yeah, we've worked with a few different people now, and then a couple people just for their own collection. There's a collector, Eyes of Kamadakun, whose collection like blows mine away, and he's got one of the blanks. Like when I first brought him out, he said, "Yeah, I want a blank," and he painted up kind of like a black and white. Like classic movie monster style, and it looked pretty sick. So that's another one where it was like, man, I might need to steal that whole colorway.
Being a collector, seeing that stuff, man, I'm sure I don't want to say it gets in the way sometimes, but I could see how when you see that stuff, you're just like, how can I get rid of this, man? You know?
Yeah, and that's the challenge too. It's like I love this stuff, and it's like why I move forward with it is because it's like it really appeals to me, and if I like it, hopefully somebody else likes it as well, right? But this is a figure that I produced because I love the design. It tickles that part of my brain, that man in the suit, classic movie monster. And it's funny, you'll have it out at a show, and people will come up and be like, "Oh, that's like." Lost in Space, or that's like classic Star Trek, and then you'll have people who'll be like, "Oh, that's like Ben 10, like this newer cartoon," or that's clearly Kaiju Big Battle or stuff, and so they'll call out all of these different things that are probably all coming off of that same DNA of these man in suit monster suits.
Sure.
And for me, it was like. I look at it and I'm like, I was watching a lot of Kakaida when I drew this up. Like this is the thing. And so like when I sent it over to Alex, like he brought in all those Ultraman, references to it. And so like there's some Bolton in there, there's some Pegasa in there, there's some Zazon in there. Like there's these elements of all of these monsters, and like so like these different like DNA kind of runs through this. But I think we're trying to just as we go through these different designs. We're leaning in toward that whole aesthetic of movie monsters, and that's just what we grew up loving, and just like monster toys, so making monsters.
Yeah, that answered my next question right there, man. As far as what you were growing up with as kids, was Alex the same way? And you guys, so that makes it really easy hook up there.
Yeah, I think we met on a Godzilla collectors forum.
Oh, wow.
And so like we collected the same like lines of toys, and then and that was 20 years ago, and we've met up at shows since, and we've that forum of course fell apart just as technology moved on and nobody updated the boards, right? But like in different collectors groups and stuff since then, but like we both grew up with real big into like mecha, anime, Godzilla films, other kaiju films, and like for a while it was like you were just hungry to get anything in that vein because a lot of it wasn't in the States. So it was like, give me anything Ultraman, give me anything Kamen Rider, whatever it is. I don't care if it's a good series or bad series. I'm gonna love it because I don't have enough of that, and it's very much kind of the influence for a lot of this stuff.
Sure. Kind of when you have a new set of eyes on the scene, you coming into the scene and just kind of seeing how things operate as far as where the manufacturing is coming from, lead times, pricing, the tariffs and stuff. What's something or maybe a couple things that you would want to see change or happen within that kind of homemade vinyl scene? In the immediate future, man, I think there's a lot of stuff out there that people kind of shy away from. Kind of stops people from producing. But what would you like to see, or stuff that you've come across?
So that's good on a couple of accounts. So one is I think we're seeing some real cool stuff in the space right now. People like Craftsman, Me More Toys or My More Toys, where
Yeah,
they're
man, very
building
cool.
like these molds at home, and they're doing soft vinyl pools at home, and the refinement of those techniques are getting to the point that they're at the same level or close to the level of what's coming out of factories. So I love that. I love the idea of making that more accessible. So I'm not waiting in line forever and spending a ton of money on a mold. And even if that mold breaks down after like 100 figures, maybe at that point it's time to move on to the next character or the next thing, rather than if I'm not spending hundreds thousands of dollars on a mold, I don't need to do that many characters or releases to make that money back. But like generally, like we talked about tariffs, but like you see things like the cost of oil going up, vinyl paint, acetone, all that stuff, petroleum based, like those costs go up as well. So I think we're going to see, unfortunately, the cost of soft vinyl toys continue to go up, as the global economy works all that out. But yeah, like if you're already seeing it with like acetone shortages and stuff kind of popping up here in the States as well.
Wow, I did not know that even was a thing, man. Ain't that funny about pricing, man? Like it always go up. And do you ever see it go back down? Like what? Like once it hits a level, like it's just you're just not. That's as low as it's going to be. But it's going any lower is probably not going to happen, which sucks, man. It sucks on the back end for the end customer buying it, and then also for the people making it because it just
Right.
gets more and more. And what do you got to do? You got to adjust your pricing consistently, I guess.
Well, that's kind of why we did like these, like the finger puppets, was to try to have these like smaller pieces that were not, the $100 vinyl. It was,
Yeah.
well, we can get that in focus, but like to have like more affordable pieces. So I don't know if maybe that's just part of the solution is to scope toys differently. And maybe not every toy needs to be the big 13-piece toy with all the accessories, because those are going to be pricey. Those mold costs, you got to make those back.
Well, I mean, the quantity of pieces I totally understand as well, but how do you determine the size? Like, I'm even looking at your shelf, and you've got everything from like the finger puppets. You've got some like 3-inch, 4-inch, almost action figure style. You've got your
Yeah.
standard, almost piggy bank style. Like, how do you decide, or is it just what works for that sculpt?
Yeah. So the Cello Peak was the kind of what was, I guess, a standard size for like a brand like Medicom or Marmot. So like we kind of sized it to be like equal to that. And I think I've got some maybe over in that shelf. Like, so the back row of that shelf, all of those tokusatsu characters in there, like he's the same size as those. So he could stand side by side with one of them. And that's kind of what we were thinking, was we wanted, our toy monsters to fit in with the toy monsters we collect. But it's like, I do, I'm not slave to any scale when it comes to collecting. Like I want, an aesthetically pleasing, wall of vinyl joy here. So I do have like stands and stuff to get things kind of tiered and looking over each other. So yeah, it's just kind of trying to get a good aesthetic and a good mix and stuff in there. And then a wide variety of color, and then a good mix of glows in there. So if the lights go off in here, that's it's like a starry night. It's pretty.
Oh, dude, that's probably so freaking cool.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
I've showed it to people, and I think half of people are like amazed, and the other half like slowly walk out of the room, like back out, like, "Hey, what's this guy? Like, this isn't normal." But yeah.
You kind of mentioned at the start that you went originally for more of like a realistic aesthetic, and that kind of switched. Do you have a favorite paint app or color scheme that you naturally gravitate all the time?
No. I tend to be more like attracted to sculpts, like typical like sculpting styles and stuff. So like it's funny, like a lot of the ones in here are from a company called Pilot Ace, but the same sculptor goes by the name Handsome Taro. He's a Japanese sculptor. So Handsome Taro did sculpts for like Jetcher, Pilot Ace, Passion Tank, and a few others. And so all of these different companies, like, I'm like, I like these sculpts. Like, there's something about them that just, and it turns out they're all sculpted by the same guy.
Oh,
He's
wow.
just worked for hire across all these different companies.
Mm.
So that was one of the things where I started discovering like the art behind the toy. And so like I started with his Godzilla stuff, and now I've got his like original characters and things in the mix as well. And it's because it's like I look at that and it's like he's got a very, you know, hand sculpted, a little bit rougher in some ways style that just really appeals to that part of my brain. That like when I have it in hand, I'm like, this is cool. This is really cool. So like that's kind of the like that. I think Gamma Mark is similar, where it's that aesthetic really gets to me, and it's like I can see a figure and I'm like, oh, that looks like a Gamma Mark, and it's like, oh, it is. Sika Luna is another company like that, where it's like the Sika Luna sculpts are just like, gosh, every time I see one, it's like I don't have room for that. But like I do find myself attracted maybe more to sculpt styles than paint apps, if that makes any sense. And maybe as I get better as a painter, that'll change. But
Sika Luna, man, those ones are hard to come by too, man. I know that Decay Toys, he buys blanks and paints them up, and he's got a couple of Sika Luna pieces on his site for sale that have been there. But God, they're beautiful, man. Just the sculpts on those are freaking wild. Really, really cool. Yeah, Micah says Micah has a room full of glow blanks, man. And talk about turning the lights off and seeing something. That thing is freaking wild. Uh, Nick says, who is making the K-Hag cosplay, and will you be wearing it? What's around
at
the corner
some show,
for you?
yes, sign me up.
What's around the corner for you as far as shows go?
Yeah, so we got 413 Independent Toy Fest is in October. This is up in Northampton, Massachusetts. It's a short show. It's only like 4 to 5 hours long. It's free to public. So there's a lot of street traffic, but it's all like small batch toys. There was a really good mix of people there last year, like Tokay Toys,
Nice.
Studio Kabuto, Mosquito Toys, like there's some really great artists. And 4749 Designs, who does like Dino Tank, like is the guy who put it on. Super gracious, had everybody over to his house afterwards for like a barbecue, and it was just a great time as like a toy maker to just hang out and talk with other artists about toys. Got to talk to a lot of just people off the street who had no idea, you know, what this stuff was. So that's the next show that you know, we're planning to do. We spent a lot of effort and time for, you know, getting ready for Wonderfest, because that was kind of a dream come true to be part of that first, you know, Wonderfest in the US. And it's funny, like Assembly Required was the same time as Wonderfest Japan Winterfest, or the Winter Wonderfest. And so like Alex and I were back in the hotel room, like scrolling through social media feeds, like, oh, did you see this one? Did you see this one? So we're like at Assembly Required, you know, wishing we were at Wonderfest, you know, and then, you know, fast forward, we actually got to participate in the, you know, the first ever Wonderfest here in the US. So that was very cool.
Yeah.
One of the homies there was asking, how do people in the US find and buy Japanese designer toys? I'm sure a bunch of the folks in the chat are going to know. B, you probably got your answers for your collection, because admittedly, you are probably one of one of the most like toy folks we've had on in a very long time, man. When you start talking about how your eye picks up on the sculptor, that to me, I was like, oh damn, this dude, like, he fucking loves his toys. You're talking about the old forum boards and stuff, and I'm picturing even like some of those janky, like one tone behind it, big old square blocks, you know what I mean? So I would imagine like you've kind of learned a lot about how to find this stuff, where to find this stuff. When you're building your collection, how do you access those?
Yeah, so that's I've been a collector for years, and that's changed as the years changed. You know, a lot of the stuff that I really like is festival exclusive. So like I talked a little bit about Wonderfest. One of the things that they do in Wonderfest Japan, and I'm hoping they'll bring to the US, is they do these one-day license or festival licenses. So an artist can get this festival license where they release an official licensed character from, like, you know, their favorite IP. So you could be able to like, hey, I can release a Godzilla figure, and it's official, and it's in the canon of like officially licensed Godzilla figures. And so because of that, you get these like smaller runs and these bright colors and stuff from these Japanese artists and such. at Wonderfest. So a lot of these festival exclusives was kind of what attracted me to the wider world of soft vinyl, and what these artists were doing when they weren't making those toys. But those toys, you shell out the thousands of dollars to go to Japan, get the ticket, stand in line, or you have to find them on the aftermarket. And there's different auction sites for that. There's different intermediaries or proxy buying services, and I think like Yahoo Auctions partnered with Buy now, so that's like the easiest and cheapest way to typically do it. But there's a lot of third-party ones out there that do it that have different cost models and different rates and stuff for that. So yeah, it's just a matter of like figuring out what your character's name is in kanji and copying and pasting it into a search engine or search for an auction site.
Wow.
Have you been to Japan yet?
I have not, and it's funny. I think Chesapeake's going to Japan before I am, so it's like that's cool, like right, but at the same time, like right. So, but it's neat that the toy is getting out there and getting to places that I haven't been, and some places maybe I never will go. So as a vinyl toy, it's going to outlive me, which is pretty cool. So there is some legacy to that. And that's, I think that's part of it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's I don't think that's something that people mention very much, man, is like having something that is going to be out there and kind of leaves somewhat of a legacy for you. It sounds like you're going to have a huge lineup of that. Crumb, should we do the giveaway while KHAG is is on the show here?
Sure, yeah. I know you've got one in your hand there. I'll full screen you there so you can show all the folks.
The new Mothman larva.
Glow in the dark.
Glow in the dark too. Let's just see real quick, man. Oh boy.
How do you decide on what color? Because I'm looking even at your display for Wonderfest. I'm seeing like 1, 2, 3, 4 minimum different larvas. How do you guys decide what colorways you're going to do?
Yeah, so that was one of the ones that we designed was kind of like, this is going to be the standard paint. I wanted to do like an all black with red eyes, just because that's kind of your traditional, Mothman. There's a lot of soft vinyl stuff out there.
Very nice.
I have one that I haven't shown off yet, and I think, hey, this is translucent. Nice. So I haven't done a translucent before, but these are really interesting because you can paint them internally, and then like it adds a different element to that as well. So I definitely wanted to do a glow, and this will be the first like translucent one. So we haven't painted these up yet, and there'll probably be some one-offs of this and some collabs with that as well. Yeah, so right now we only have 4 different colorways that I've ordered. I do want to do a marble for it because I personally love marbles. It's kind of like that one of a kind element, and that goes back to not being a paint app, but being like that sculpt and like where the vinyl flows and stuff. So like marbles to me are really cool. So I've got some marbles in the mix, and it's like, it's a good marble or it's a bad marble, but it's the only one that looks like that,
Yeah. If you want a chance to win the Mothman larva, in the comments, what word are we going with Crumbs?
Mothman?
Moth. Let's go with moth. MOTH. If you want a chance to win this, comment moth. You will automatically be entered into the wheel to win this, and the computer will generate a name, and you will win that free of charge even. How about that? Nice, man. The internal paint, that is something that I've seen done lately too, man, and that gives it a whole different look. I love that, what you said about the having a clear vinyl piece. It seems like painting the inside or putting something inside that's visible. I've seen a few different things done to get that look without even really touching the outside of it, which is cool.
I'll admit, and this isn't even a question, it's more just a commentary, but personally I love that you openly went the direction of finger puppet. When the hollow bottom like that, I feel like some of the Americans that have done the finger puppet style, they spend all this time making a plug for it. And sure, whatever, if that's your jam, it makes it look more finished for you, that's fine. But I love that you like that is a style that has kind of existed in Sofubi. So to play right into that finger puppet style, it's like, hell yeah. Why spend the extra time,
Exactly.
effort, money on a plug for the bottom? And especially for that design, that'd be an annoying bottom to try and plug up. It just looks great, man. It's smart. You guys have a lot of history, like, and knowledge behind your toys. It's
Well,
very
they've
obvious.
been collecting for over 20 years, so hopefully that's worth something, right? And
You
if
know,
I don't
that's
have
what
to glue a figure, then I'm happy. So
yeah.
yeah, forget plugs. But no, that's the style, and like some of the OBs or whatever that comes with like some of the larger figures, they'll have like little mini like minis that come with them that are the finger puppet style. That was what we were definitely going for.
You know, you mentioned about the first thing that I thought of when you said that you were doing the pieces for each state is the research that you have to do and kind of the historical aspect of that. Which for me, man, I mean, my first passion that my career was going to go, I was going to be a U.S. history teacher. So
Ooh.
the research and the stuff that goes into that, I think is fascinating, man. Do either one of you have any type of, I mean, because you got to like that a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I know there's monsters involved and stuff, but there is a probably a big deal of research that goes into that.
Yeah, so a lot of it we like look at, what cryptids, what are the different culture things in the state, what are like the mascots, and we kind of try to stay away from mascots because a lot of people will like, oh yeah, you should do a bulldog because our team's the Bulldogs or whatever, right? So like we try to stay away from like that mascot element, like the sports teams and whatnot. But yeah, like where we can tie in something biological or something related to like the economy there, like we've tried to lean in on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'll see some stuff coming up where you'll be like, oh yeah, I know where that came from. So I think one of the ones that we showed off at let's see. So this was our Idaho. He's our potato from Idaho.
Nice.
So
Nice.
like, there was one that was one of the designs that we had kind of come up with, and Alex has got this sculpt like 90% done right now, and it looks incredible. Like I can't wait to have it like personally. But this is the Kentucky monster that we had that ended up being a lot of pieces and had the gimmick, but he's based off of like the Mammoth Cave system. So he's like a mammoth, he's a cave, like, and so there's a couple other little hidden things in there that we'll get to when you see the sculpt. But like those are the kind of things that we try to play off of. Like, is there a big geological thing in that area that we can work with or stuff like that. So like this is an example of, it wasn't really a cryptid, but like the Mammoth Cave system is pretty big to Kentucky, and Alex threw out a couple other Kentucky concepts because that's his home state. Mine's Maryland, so between the two of us we were trying to get these out first. Yeah,
Nice. Kentucky, man. Kentucky is gosh, we could probably go on and on about artists in Kentucky for whatever reason, man. That's a little hotbed for indie work on resin and vinyl side. It seems like so. Cool. How many we got in the oh man, that's more than I
We're at
thought.
17 so far.
17, that's good number.
I mean, you and Alex obviously have both kind of like you're both tied into these characters you've designed. When they come in, do they sometimes get a little jealous that you're painting them? Do you guys split up some of them, or how do you kind of work that part out?
Yeah, so no, like we're different. I think we complement each other. Like we're very much like we fill each other's like weaknesses and strengths, I think, real well. So he doesn't want to deal with any of the business stuff, which is fine. So like that lets me deal with all that. He's got his airbrush and his some blanks and stuff, but like he's just been all focused in on like the sculpting, which he just blows out of the water. He's been doing concepts up. Like so far, like it's been good. But like if he wants to do a whole paint run, God bless him, I'd gladly hand over the paintbrush and the airbrush, to let him do that. So I mean, it's just very, very collaborative. I think we've been able to, like I said, we complement each other real well with our different strengths.
Is this the first business venture that you've gone into working with somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that probably the setup that you guys have, where one person's doing one thing, the other person's doing the other. Man, dude, what a dream situation to have, right? Can you imagine if both you guys wanted to try to control, pricing or something like that? What a nightmare that would be.
Right. And it's been perfect because it's like I don't want to deal with that. That's you. And like really when it comes to like the concept stuff, I'll give feedback and it's mostly at this point, his design work and everything that's pulling us together. So
Yeah,
I'll say like, hey, let's, aim this toe down or let's, make this bump slightly smaller than that bump just so that the pool is cleaner. Hey, can we curve that tail just a little bit? Those kind of
yeah.
like small like things, like not a real conceptual change. So but yeah, both of us have kind of the same aesthetic and we like the same sort of stuff, so it's been a real easy collaboration.
How much time would you say you're dedicating to these projects on a daily or weekly basis?
As much time as I can.
Yeah.
No, like I have a family, which takes time, right?
Ah,
And
God.
I have a day job. Like what did depressed
Ah,
monsters call us? Like day job artists or
yeah.
something. So yeah, I've got the day job. So it really is like weekends and your days off, your holidays is like, hey, let me get some time in painting or get it, evening after the kiddo's gone to bed kind of thing.
Sure.
And so like some of it is, dependent on if I got a show coming up, you got to bust. But sometimes it's like it's just too freaking cold to paint, like because I can't
Yep.
airbrush in the house, and so I've got like a garage space, but like paint doesn't cure at 30 degrees, right? So like sometimes that drives it. So like this time of the year, awesome. Like I do a lot more painting. Like I was dying because I got my globes before assembly required, and I really wanted to have those painted. But just like the backup at the factory, I didn't get those until late December, and I
Yeah.
didn't have any days between when I got those, or maybe very few days that it was over 40 degrees.
Oh,
So it
wow.
was just like no days that I could paint. So I only had blanks of the glows to sell at assembly, which wasn't, the desire, but we got some glows out there for people that want to paint them up themselves.
Yeah, man, I was just gonna say, so how does that affect your kind of process as far as, if you're gonna really load up in the summertime and try to carry that through wintertime, or are you focusing more on wintertime to be more of the blank marble stuff like that, kind of without the paint?
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Haven't thought that far through. uh, but no, that's we do like mostly like we sell at shows. Like we've only I think done one online sale so far, and that may be what we do for a while, just so that
Sure.
we have stock to bring to shows.
Yeah.
And we've done some one-off sales here and there. Like if we know we're going to be somewhere, and like, hey, if you're going to be at the same convention, just let me know and I'll bring it for you. But like at this point, like a lot of the schedule is based around the shows that we're doing. So like we have 413 is going to be in October. We've got assembly required probably again in February, and if we get into Wonderfest again, next May, we'd want to do that one again because that was a fantastic show, and just to be part of that was really cool. So like those are the ones that we kind of have on the map. We've heard of a few other good ones that people have done real well on as indie toy makers. So maybe we'll try to squeeze one more in and do like 4 a year kind of thing.
Nice. Yeah.
But it takes time prepping for shows. And I talked with Wonder Goblin about this, and what that ops tempo looks like is trying to get ready for shows and everything. And so um, yeah, it takes a lot to get everything ready, and then it's like, okay, now I can go focus on the next thing or this other project I want to work on.
Yeah.
So try not
Man,
to
that
take on too many and just do like the tour.
yeah, no kidding. Um, hey, Caucasian Creations, what's going on, dog?
In a
Um,
in a perfect world, if I may, who is like the artist who would paint up one of your pieces, man?
So that goes back to like keeping your own supply. Um, no, like so right now there's I guess the one artist that hasn't been announced that's painting one that it was like I really wanted to paint some stuff. So they're actually doing a small run of Mothman, and they're known kind of internationally better than a lot of other people I've worked with. So that'll be really cool. I would love to see like Clav take on like Cella
ooh,
Peak.
I thought
But
that's
that's
what you were
another
talking
one
about.
where it's like I'd give him like 5 cello peaks. He'd paint all 5 differently, and then I'd keep them all myself. And
Yeah.
yeah, like so, like those kind of things. Yeah, that's the problem with being a collector as well, right?
Dude, I know that you saw a Clavs that what he was just selling, I believe it was at New York, but
Yeah,
he had that whole table full of stuff, and you look at it, and I mean, totally different characters, right? But the aesthetic, as far as the paint goes, it definitely looks like they're all from him. But my goodness, dude, you start just flipping through those things, and you're just like, oh my god, it's one after another. Really, really cool paintwork.
one of my toy regrets is the first 5 points I went to. He was selling at, and he had like a Frank Hozick piece that he had painted up and reasonably priced, and it was like, oh, that's cool, I should get it. I don't really want to, it was my first 5 points, and so then of course it was gone, and I still regret not picking that piece up because now Kazikh's passed away, and then not going to be any more of that. But
Right.
that clad piece was pretty slick.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's do the giveaway for the Mothman larva. How many we end up getting in there, Crumbs?
20 are in there. Sorry.
20. You got a 1 in 20 shot at this.
All right.
Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, gorgeous piece, man. I really like both your pieces have been great so far, dude. You guys are really onto something.
Thank you.
Delta 1222. Congrats on the Mothman larva from HAG Toys. If you could put your address, message us with the address, that will go out in tomorrow's mail with the other giveaways we've been sending out recently. Man, good win. Solid piece, man. And when is the larva coming out? Is this out for sale right now?
Yeah, so this debuted at Wonderfest. We dropped 2 variants. We dropped the black with the red eyes, and we dropped the glow. And then we had just a few clears for sale there that we weren't announcing or letting anybody know. So it was kind of a surprise to have that at the show.
Ooh.
So that's been the first release. We're going to paint up some this summer, and that'll be the next release. And then hopefully a marble will be after that. So that's what we got kind of on the line for that. With Cello Peak, we just did the glow and gold with the pearl. That was dropped at Wonderfest. So anything that we have left over from that's going to probably just roll into the next show. And then I think the only other thing I've got scheduled for that is some marbles. So looking forward to getting some marbles out on that.
Dude, that yellow one is wild, dude. Holy smokes. That was awesome. That yellow blank in there.
Have any of your guests told you at this point that it's like being in a dunk tank waiting for Crumbs to hit that drop button?
Hold up. Well, I have a question. First.
I didn't even think about that.
Like every time he leans forward, I'm like, here it goes.
So Micah, he's a big collector of of glow blanks, but do you have blanks for sale currently? And are they of the glow nature?
Yeah, we have I think 2 glow blanks left that we're selling. So just hit me on Instagram.
Bam, there you go, Micah.
Move fast, Micah. God dang it, dude. And then I gotta know, man, what's like your grailer? If you gotta go 3, sure, but I'm curious, like, what's a grail for you on that shelf back there? Holy cow.
So the one that I've been searching for decades for is a translucent blue vinyl paradise mega nulon from Marmot.
Anybody out there? Anybody know anybody? Let them know.
Nope.
What about pieces that you have currently?
Oh, everyone's a grail. They're all precious to me.
How do you pick one?
I'm sure I can hop on Google and I can end up looking and finding out, but maybe you'll just know it off the hand. What is up with that one really gold? Is it a 2-headed or tri-headed? Because I don't know if everything else in your collection is so like colorful. That's one of the few I've seen that's just like, damn, I'm gold. What up?
Yeah, so that's from Pilot Ace. That's King Ghidorah. Those are pretty hard to get at this point. Yeah, the Pilot Ace figures are pretty impossible to get at this point. But that's from the same sculptor that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Now I'm just curious. Do you prefer like a nice, tight, clean paint app, or do you kind of like that like airbrush, loosey goosey, colors over top each other vibe?
It depends if I'm doing it or if somebody else is doing it.
That's a good point, man.
Yeah. I generally, no, it depends on the figure. It really does. Like there's some figures where it bugs me, but like a little overspray is intentional with soft vinyl. That's part of the style. And I think like, you know, the way that, you know, Connor Graves does it, like you can see there, like there's a little bit there versus, you know, the way that I, you know, masked it off, you know, differently, like on the same pieces. So
The color shift on that Connor Graves one is so fucking dope, man.
Yeah, super cool.
And it almost has like a Sonic the Hedgehog color scheme. That red, silver, and then just like that like aqua green color shift. Oh, it's so good.
Oh man, that's good. Yeah.
Damn.
Sweet.
And part of that comes to your sculpt. Like your sculpt has a lot of textures and different areas for it to be a fun paint apt piece. That's fun, man.
that's another thing that I've kind of learned through the process was like what's fun to paint. So like having a little bit of extra texture to pick up that paint, or I think one of the things that you know, Octil had kind of given me pointers on was like directional sprays. And so like doing a sculpt in a way that I can do a directional spray on it, and that from different angles, like you get those cool effects. Like that was one of the things that like I didn't realize that about figures. And then it's like as I learned about it, it gives me more appreciation into how, you know, different things are painted. So yeah, it's been a learning experience, and it's changed the way I collect as well.
Speaking of collecting, man, we will have to have you back sometime. Nick said, can we please see a collection tour, man? That's something that we need to get back into. But I know some people out there have just some outrageous collections. And those are always fun, man, to take a look at what people got.
All right, we'll try to drag Alex out here next time as well.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go,
man.
Dude, thank you for your time, man. That was very, very cool, dude. We went way over an hour on that, I think, or hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes. But
it's
dude,
easy to do when you're sitting with easy folks, man. You know?
Dude, that was an easy interview too,
Damn.
man.
Oh.
There
it is.
See, we tepidly stepped into the removal there.
That was a nice
manners.
one. That was a nice. That's like we walked up to the dunk tank and we were just like, all right, we're gonna press it now, and we just kind of leaned into it there. And there you go. But yeah, dude. Well, shoot, looks like he looks like he sold a glow blank there to Micah. That's cool.
And, I mean, let's be real, dude. In a perfect world, every single time we would bring somebody in, we would end up hearing afterwards. We don't need to hear it, but they sell something. I mean, let's be real. Like that, in a perfect world, because we're not sitting here being like, "And for you, mom and dad, sitting at home, only $19.99. You know, 4 equal payments. You can get the." We're not pushing these artists in that way.
Yeah.
But when you bring somebody in and their work is great, and they're able to talk about their work, and somebody in the chat sees something they've made that they actually respect and want and like, it's like, fuck yeah, dude. It's like showing up at a glory hole and it's a woman on the other side.
So you're right, dude. And I think, you know, it's also some of the background stories that we get on, and that kind of hooks people in, whether it's, you know, they're buying something or maybe they're just becoming familiar with the artist in general. But what really got me, dude, is like, I didn't know that it was going to be a state by state thing and encrypted from each state. I mean, I think that is, I don't want to sit here and go like, oh, that's brilliant. But I mean, what a very cool concept to land on and then do it for each state, dude. I mean, you got a few dozen right off the bat that, you know, that you can do it. I think probably doing the research for those would be cool to try to come up with something, man. But I mean, gosh, they're already on to, we probably saw, 2 that were done already, and then there's another one in the mix, and then maybe we saw like maybe 2 or 3 more just kind of rough sketches in there. So
you know what I love? That piece they have for Kentucky. So back in the day, I remember talking to the dudes from Anonymous Rat, and they were working on the strawberry snail piece, and he was talking about like the tooling for it and the molding for it. And when you're doing a big piece like that with multiple legs and joints and stuff, it's really hard to actually make sure everything's going to stand proper, to stand properly on a shelf and everything. I
Yeah.
think that piece they're making, where it's like a cave version, it mixes so many fun things. It almost creates the concept of what are those stupid Polly Pocket kind of vibes, right? Because it's open like that. You get that same vibe of those hollow dinosaur, like Chinosaurs you'd have back in the day. You want to put your finger
Yes.
in there and get bit
Yes.
and stuff. But then it's also just such a difficult thing to really nail down. Oh, I'm excited. Like, that's going to be a really neat piece, man. And like the idea of it being mountains, right? Like they're even their piece they have right now, their piece is, you can see that old monster movie and kaiju Ultraman vibe, right? That costumed monster kind of vibe. They're
Right.
on something, man. To combined, they have a really, really good Mighty Max. Yes, they have
Yeah,
a
there you
really
go.
good
Yeah.
eye for combining all these different things that works, dude. Like in 5 years, even tomorrow, if you got somebody into collecting vinyl and then just happened to slide this artist in, they wouldn't even know on the same shop that one was from like 1970 or 80 and the other one's from today. You know,
Right.
they slip real nice in there. Oh, and a
Yeah, that
collection
Mammoth
tour.
Cave. Oh, dude. Oh my God. I don't know how we'd even get through it in one show. But there was obviously some stuff on there. I mean, he was talking about stuff I've never even heard of, dude. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things where you notice a few things on the shelf, but I think I mean, the space, the space that he has to work with
Dude,
there is incredible, dude. Holy
even
smokes.
even if you want to do a collection tour, you'd almost have to have one of those like selfie sticks, right? And putting the camera into the Deltoff so that way you're not fucking touching all these. Because I bet you some of those pieces they have in their collection are over 60 years old.
Uh,
Like they would
For sure.
have to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for you to like, we all know what it's like when you start obsessing over a certain artist or a certain niche, and you start to try and like track them all down. It's like, fuck, I bet the lore on those shelves is just
Yeah, dude, I thought that was a very cool way to collect too, or at least maybe not collect, but a way to collect and to group your stuff as well.
it might have even just been an avenue that happened, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny, I was talking to somebody the other day about that. Like some people get it, some people don't, but even when you're bin digging, you start to pick up on it. It's not like, you look at a piece and like it might be like the colors, the dimensions, the sculpt, the style, but you can almost know, you're like, I bet this is made by, and you can figure it out. And then you start looking for the accessories, and it's so stupid. You can maybe at the bottom of a bin find an accessory and you're like, I think this goes to this. And you Google it later and you're like, yeah, same world, of course. Sculpt looks similar, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, fuck,
Very cool.
man.
That's a hell of a collection though, man. And I like and that's not the first artist where they've said, yeah, I didn't really do any resin before. I didn't really want to waste any time and kind of work my way into it. And I think every artist that we've seen do that, you know, I think they've had success from what I know, just from who
You
we
know,
talked to.
in my opinion, they took the trade off, right? It's kind of like, yeah, you can spend forever in resin, and they would have potentially learned all these things, yeah, while doing it. You still would have been learning while doing, you know what I mean? So you still would have
Yeah.
wasted all that money on resin. You still would have wasted all that money on silicone and painting that stuff. And on top of that, you're wasting time, and time is one of the most valuable ones. So it's kind
Yeah.
of like at the end of the day, they did the trade off. They were kind of like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to not bother with all this resin shit. I'm going to jump right into vinyl. But in order to do that, I'm probably going to go damn afterwards a couple of times because I'm going to learn a couple of things. Like even in
Yeah.
my brain, it makes sense, but it's also kind of like, fuck, that's a tough one. When they mentioned not doing the pincer pieces here, it's like, well, shit, yeah, that's two whole other molds minimum, right? So you're like, of course, that kind of makes a decision mark where like you're like, do I really need them to move? And then on top of that, like that's more that you're cutting and fucking putting in later. But then at
Yeah.
the same time, it's your piece. And after you've
Right.
painted 10, 15, 20, 50, like you're kind of looking at them going, fuck, on the second thought, I do kind of wish my guy had the waistband pincers and they could move. I could do this and that, and
Yeah.
maybe I shouldn't have, right? That's such a tough
Yeah.
decision to make.
Well, and that's a good point too, dude. About, I think when you're first learning to do something, you got to have probably some estimated loss in there, right? And like no matter what, like you're gonna lose money on just getting through the process on your silicone, your resin, your whatever you're doing, however you're designing it. There's going to be time and money wasted in that. I wouldn't say wasted because it's part of the process, right? But like, do you want to use that and then start over again with the vinyl? Or do you want to just jump right into vinyl and kind of take your losses there? I think at the beginning, it's probably, like you said, man, there's some hard lessons to learn right away. I think it's a lot more forgiving in the resin scene as far as you being able to correct it right away, versus a vinyl thing. Like, how are you going to set up a vinyl and try to get a bunch of vinyl samples basically on how they do it? But then again, at that point, I mean, I think as far as sending it off to a thing, that's got to be one of the thing that's good about it is like that is kind of out of your hands unless you're pulling it yourself. Is once you send it off, it's like, I don't know, I want you to tell me if it can be done or not. You don't have to tell me how you make the molds and shit, like that's your job. That's why I hired you to do that.
Well, and
um
that's where I think like the team there in general, their combined knowledge of these toys, whether they meant to or not, whether they even knew, I would even say maybe it was even inadvertently potentially, but they probably were able to bypass certain issues in the sculpting stages that other individuals wouldn't have been able to simply by handling and seeing these pieces on a constant basis, right?
yeah.
I would almost wonder if like in their brain they're just designing it to look like the things that they've used and played with and everything else, but in doing so you're allotting for those sculptural differences that potentially when you jump into doing this, the company is hitting you back afterward being like, it doesn't really make sense to pull it that way.
Right.
You might want to revisit your sculpt and do a couple things. So they might have already kind of bypassed some of that.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. They've got a cool piece. Again, like I'm really intrigued. I bet you being a fly on a wall for like a conversation between the KHAG team would be really enlightening, man.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I like the way they have their I mean, they know what lane they're in as far as the producing of the toy, which I think is really cool too. I mean, they live in different states, Kentucky and Maryland, but they're still getting it done. I'm sure Alex has a full-time job too, so it's two guys with families and full-time jobs that are still getting together in their free time and making really, really cool shit, man. So yeah, I'm excited for them, dude. They got a really good path. It looks like it seems like they got a really good formula going on for what they're doing. It seems like when you start thinking about it, man, there's just so many different ideas out there, not only with cryptids, but he said also tapping into people's industry in their states too, which I think is really, really cool. We saw the Idaho potato, and then you start thinking of some of the other stuff that can be done, which is, for me, like the kaiju stuff, dude, is when you start getting these really weird stuff like buildings and different stuff like that. I think that's very cool where it's at least incorporated to it. I saw some kaiju recently, dude. Did you see that one with the claws on it and he's coming out through the TV? That's sick, dude. Yeah, I can't remember who did that. Somebody will say it, but that was very, very cool too. I don't know who did that, but yeah, cool company, man. Straight up, K
speaking
Hag.
and speaking of that's cool, man. I wonder who did that. What you got there on your side there? What are your show and tells you got there for today?
Oh, dude. Yeah, man. Let's just dive in, dude. There's quite a few things in there. One of them that I didn't put on the list on the post was the Hobo Toys magazine, man. So Hobo Toys magazine, we'll take a look at that real quick. That's issue 5. If that is still available, you should definitely go and get that. Very cool. We will start off with, how about Jenny Cherry Art, man? Jenny Cherry Art was a new one to me, introduced by Plastic Jesus just within the last maybe month or so. I wasn't super familiar, but they have some Jenny Cherry stuff, and I saw it and I was just freaking amazed. One of them that I did a open on the other day was this like 1950s ish lamb. It's a vinyl piece squeak toy, and they painted it. But I got this because I mean, my memory's not super great from when I was really small, but I believe that my grandparents had one of these at their house. And it was always kind of floating around in the toy box with a um, like a Bob's Big Boy vinyl. And so I bought this one to actually kind of display with that
That's sharp,
1950s.
dude.
Yeah, super cool, man. They have a bunch of different colorways of these. They're not that expensive. I thought these were super cool, man. They had some,
Like,
I believe.
is this
Go
one of
ahead.
those situations where they're painting up maybe like a lot that they've found, or have they like gotten these remanufactured? What's the deal here?
That I'm not sure, dude. Honestly,
Doesn't
I
matter.
don't.
It looks beautiful. Paint
Yeah,
ap's sick, and that nostalgia mark is checked right off.
yeah, straight up, man. And her kind of signature is she puts little hearts in the eyes on most of her pieces and stuff. But yeah, super cool piece, man.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah, really nice. Bam. So there's that one from Jenny Cherry, and then there's this one as well, man. Check that kaiju out.
Yeah,
There is
that's
a heart there,
sick. The
dude.
fuck? Okay, so that is their original sculpt for that made into vinyl.
Correct. Um,
Hey.
and it is a glow.
Oh.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, I know. And I was this was with K-Hag. I bet you they know, man. Do you think marbling was very rare in old vinyl, like vintage vinyl toys? Like, would it have been almost like end of the run of something you might get a marbling? And then
Yeah,
we
like maybe
just,
it happened by accident first. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
like trying to
they
use the last of your green and the last of your pink or something like that just to get it the fuck out. And but I mean,
and you know, and I've seen other stuff that they made, man. I was watching something recently. I can't remember what it is that they made, but they were showing it kind of going through the rollers and then adding the
yeah,
colors, and you can see as it gets folded over how
yeah.
much that marbling changed every time that you put it through. I
And
would
just
assume
become,
that,
yes,
yeah,
yeah, because it quote unquote mixes, right? Like on a
right,
molecular level, they're compressing it together and mixing them.
right,
Micah, that is Jenny Cherry art.
correct, yeah. So she's got a bunch of different versions of these. I thought this one was super cool. This one actually
Yeah,
came
that's sick.
from I want to say this one came from a show. I can't remember. This was a leftover from a show, but she does have a bunch of different color blanks, I believe, and then there's some ones that are really done up on on her site. So yeah, Jenny Cherry Art, check that one out. But that's a nice one. Bam.
Damn.
This is the Chella Peak that we looked at. Bam, that's from K-Hag. Go get snag up one of those. Um, how about this one, man? This one I've actually had for a couple weeks. I had it in the background on a couple shows, but we didn't talk about it. Guardian of the Forbidden Realm Gateway. This is from Kevy Cold Cuts. Um, nice little piece, dude. Really smooth job on the packaging there. Um, this one, dude, just screams independent toy to me.
Yeah, they've got a very like you can they've got a style. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so there's that part of it, and then there's also this little portal. Dude, check that out.
They had some of the portals, and you know I'm a huge Stargate SG-1 fan. I didn't snag a portal when they were here, but a small part of me is like, why, dumbass? Because yeah, those are sick.
Yeah, those are cool, man, especially as a display piece right next to it.
Yeah.
Um, really cool. I dig that, man. This kind of little fake moss stuff that they have up there. Um, but yeah, that's really cool. Really cool display next to that one. Kevin Cold Cuts, man. I don't know if we tagged his page or not, but he's always running some sales or had some stuff on sale recently that I saw. So check his page out. Kevy Cold Cuts on that one. Bam. Next one, dude. Check this one out. This is by Akashic Records and Toys. Bam, dude.
That's insane.
This one, yeah, the two-headed, the two-face thing on there. It's turned around like this now, but this is really cool, dude. This was actually a WonderCon piece that I don't think Akashic Records was there, but they Barbarian Rage had some pieces of his on his table, and this was one of them, and it didn't sell at the show, which is crazy to me.
Now,
Uh,
is his cape binded in the middle? Is it supposed to be like clipped together in the center there?
yeah, so it's like yeah, it was just kind of folded over, but yeah, it actually
Oh, okay.
yeah,
So sorry.
no, all good, man. But yeah, dude, I
No, because
love
it
the
had
colors on this.
such an makes it look like it's like submerged in like clear resin or something. It almost
Yeah,
creates like a double cast effect. That's just so jokes. That's dope.
yeah, I love the paint work on that too, man. The colorway. I have another one of these that looks completely different, dude. It's like all blue with like red and yellow highlights, but um, great looking figure, man, from
And
Akashic Records and Toys.
I'll never get tired of seeing those like nice, solid, hard gradient lines, and then just like those like airbrushed lines, like those blue stripings on the arms in
Yeah,
juxtaposition with the gold. It's just like, oh yeah, like, mm.
nice, nice, very cool.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's a legend, dude. Remember those
yeah,
big old fucking Iron Giant pieces that they had at one point?
yeah, man.
No, Rock Creature. There we go, Rock
There
Man.
you go, Rock Creature.
There you go.
Dude, this one was a new one for me. This is King Mama Toys. Bam. Check that one out. Now, shout out to D Pruitt, man. D Pruitt had posted these on his or did a post about these. This is Professor B, Space Junk Club, Dorothy Nova. This is a vinyl piece actually. And then so dude, it was this, which is another one.
Yeah, I saw you popping that. Was okay. The
Yeah.
Builder figure has me so intrigued. Is it the exact same piece or
Yes.
different sculpt? But
I just
that
want to
blue
look at
blank
the
vinyl, that is such a cool piece, man.
yeah. No, it looks like it's the same sculpt, but it's just in that blue that kind of blue colorway. But dude, it was those two and the comic, the Space Junk comic for $40.
Jeez.
Yeah, both figures and the comic, bam, $40. I believe they sold out, and they should have sold out because that's a crazy good price. But again, man, shout out to D Pruitt for posting this. I would have never known about these, but these are very cool, man. I didn't see a whole lot of stuff on their page, so I'm excited to see what they have coming out next. But dude, what a great freaking buy for $40 for two figures. I love the scale of those. Very cool.
I'm probably gonna say this and I feel like an idiot because it's probably more common than you would think, but action figure sized vinyl is so fucking fun, man. It's just odd but fun. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is about it.
Yeah, I agree, man. And that's what we were kind of talking about with KHAG, right? Like the different scales and stuff, not only
Mhm.
for pricing wise, but display wise too, man. It's hard to get, you know, the thing that I think I really like about vinyl pieces is some of them is like the size of them, just because they're like so commanding pieces. On the flip
Yeah,
side of that is, dude, you can really only have so many because where are you going to put them? And they take up so much
yeah.
space in everything that you do. So, it's like you kind of got to pick and choose, but um yeah, you're right, dude. The action figure scale in a vinyl, that's why I really like a lot of bootleg Toyco stuff. That his stuff is kind of on the smaller scale. The
Right.
Healy made vinyls, those are always a big hit, dude. Those are like in the 4 to 5 inch range, probably more closer to 4 inch, but those are always, I mean, those are always great, dude. But makes them really easy to collect, and they as a display item, I think it looks really cool when you have a bunch of them together. um, Especially the same sculpt in different colorways, which um, you know uh
You know,
next, yeah, but I didn't really know where to go with that. Next, Unhinged Toys. So Unhinged Toys is going to be on the show
I
in two
saw
weeks
that
on, yeah,
on
on
the
the
24th.
24th. Yeah, that's going to be fun, man. uh, we've actually had a couple of people ask when he's going to be on the show, and June 24th is when it's going to be.
Yeah, this is your third piece.
This is, gosh, dude, yeah, third or fourth. I
Yeah,
got two
you're
here, so I think,
hooked.
yeah, dude, straight up, man. Not only is it's like a really clean setup, dude, but it's a really cool figure. The price is right. They range anywhere from like 30 to $40 or maybe 30 to 50, just depending on how you if you want a blank or if they're painted. But really
That,
simple.
that's a new sculpt on that one, is it not?
Yeah, this is the new one, man. And I was talking to him
Brilliant.
the other day, and I said, "Man, one thing that's really cool about this is you could line up all your different figures so far, and you can tell right away they're from the same world." Um, but yeah, dude, I mean, 5 points articulation on here,
It's very
always
Final
clean.
Faction-esque. I don't know if it's the colors, I don't know if it's the bulkiness of the limb, but it reminds me of very like Final Faction type style. It's sick, man.
Yeah, and he's doing all his own sculpting and
Oh,
whatnot.
jeez.
Yeah, look at this one, dude. This is a fancy guy right here.
I mean, his paint apps are tight as fuck.
Bro, the paint apps are stupid good. Stupid good, dude.
You know what they're lacking? Big old dirty brush strokes.
Yeah. You will not find that on his work, man. He's a tattoo artist by trade, and
Nice.
got into the sculpting and printing and painting phase, which is going to be really fun to talk about, dude. We can kind of dive into that and see how that all came about. But cool figures, dude. He's got a really, like I said, clean setup, just bagged up with a simple header card.
Oh, that
Man,
guy's badass, man.
yeah, but it's money every time, dude. Like from a collector standpoint, I was telling them that, we deal with a lot of artists, and I think a lot of people in the um, I think a lot of people in the audience are also artists too. But from a collector standpoint, dude, like this is money all day, dude. They look really clean on display. They stand up great. The balance is always there. The joints are nice and tight. Like you said, the paint is always really, really tight.
That
Um,
literally looks like the same quality you'd get from like a Healy Raider.
yeah, different feel,
Of
for
course.
sure.
Yeah. Of course. Because it's
But
not
yeah, just like
PVC.
the clean, the lines on them,
Yeah.
dude, and like just lined up together, it looks super super smooth. So Unhinged Toys, I believe that there was a couple of these colorways left. Like I said, I think they're about $30. Get on his page and snatch them up. They're all one-offs, dude. I don't know of anyone of that he made multiples of, unless he made multiples and just didn't advertise that. But I believe they were all one-offs. And he's got painted or just solid or whatever. The last thing we're going to take out real quick, take a look at is Hobo Toys issue number 5. What a great looking magazine, dude. Eddie and I were talking about this the other day. His pictures, dude, they're basically, he's got short stories in here and whatnot. But there's also, um, there's just artwork. It seems like everything in here is almost full page, which is also cool. But there's some tattoo work. That's some works from Eddie. There's some pocket salsa in there. There's Eddie with some flash. Look at that picture of Max, dude. How 1980s Teen Beat magazine is that right there, dude?
Oh,
What a stud.
jeez.
Look at
There
that
it
guy,
is. Yeah,
man.
man.
What a G. Bam, look at that, dude. Nice full page there. Plastic Vomit and Dre. There's some more Plastic Vomit. But yeah, man, great magazine from Hobo Toys. Pick that up if there's any left. Eddie and I were talking about how you get those, and I said, man, they were. Oh, Connor Graves, what's up, dog? Yeah, they were. Gosh, dude, you'll have to rewind this one back, dude. There's K-Hag did a great job, dude. He showed off a piece that you painted for him, and everybody was gawking over that one, man. That was really, really cool. Glow secured from Micah Attaboy. So Micah snagged up one of those Glow Cella Peaks. I believe that would mean there's only one of those left. So if you're looking for one of those, you'll have to DM K-Hag directly for something like that. But anyways, the Hobo Zone magazine, that one, I wonder what the run is, dude. And I would say there's probably, I don't know, like 50. And I don't think he's doing second printings of them all, man. So when you see those, you got to grab them. Cheap buy, dude. It's like $20. But I think these things, as we go through time, these things in 5 to 10 years, to look back on these and see the artists and stuff in there is going to be, that's really going to be something, man. That's some independent toy history right there, in a tangible.
Surreal to say the least. Guaranteed.
For real, dude. For real. You know what's funny? I was talking to Eddie, and he didn't know that. Ed Hobo Toys kind of did the same thing with us. He said if we had access to any logos or pictures, I said whatever you want to do, just take whatever you want from the page. And I think Eddie pretty much did the same thing. Well, Eddie doesn't really follow along closely sometimes. He's not on Instagram a lot, but he's in every issue. He's in all 5, and he hadn't seen any of those pictures. I'm like, bro, look at these full page spreads. He's like, what? He's like, oh, it's a dope ass magazine. How do I get them? I'm like, man, I don't know if you can get them anymore, but check out Hobo Toys. You might be able to get issue number 5 still. But yeah, very cool, man. Very, very cool.
Yeah, no, it's something. It'd be tough to sleep on, man. I got a couple of little tabs here, and then we're gonna let this
Yes.
homie go home. I know slipping past the 2 hour mark is something that we try not to do to you guys too often.
Hey, we're
Nakasatsu
due.
is every now and then, yeah,
We're
right.
due. We're due.
This Friday, heady as fuck online sale starts. Obviously, the joke being this is Adora, right?
Nice.
Oh, that was clever. 40
Yeah.
USD, edition of 10. We've also got Ragnar Squad popping up some painted pieces into the store. Like I'm, oh, hey. You know, it's so simple but so dope. You don't think about it, but putting a couple of those little fuzzy balls inside of a clear, man.
Yeah, really cool.
I wonder how many you could just ram in there before it starts to not really look. I mean, that's what she said, right? That damn Joe, the Devil's Dentures 4, the original larger scale with pressure fit hinge, new sculpt, 4 Keshi minis, scum dummy germs, 10 launch color options, all glow in the dark random draw colors for the germs.
Dude, he's also got some 5-pound bone ghosts coming out. Holy 5-pounders, dude.
You know, my girlfriend calls me the 5-pound bone ghost.
Okay, okay. I think she's talking about your overall weight, though.
Yeah, you're right. Dude, no shit. Okay, the other day I'm walking, right? And I forget that I'm wearing this shirt. And some crack-headed dude, this is this old haggard motherfucker, points right at me and he's like, that looks like Skeletor. And at first I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, I'm pretty slim, but cut me a break, right? And then as he says it and he's shaking his cracky old finger, I look down and I'm just like, it is Skeletor. I shit you not. He then starts sitting there. How did I know that was Skeletor? I'm just like, oh my God. But for a split second, I thought for sure he was talking about me, man. For sure.
That is funny, dude. I would have. Oh my God, that one back there, dude. Holy crap. But you should just be like, who? Who's Skeletor? Never heard of him. Tell me about Skeletor.
Right?
Oh my God, dude. 5-pounders on those. I know he does the 1 pound, but those 5-pounders, dude. Whoa.
Yeah, it's actually sick too. You know, I find this is kind of funny. Somewhere along the way, overpours have become just like the dopest shit, man. And I know that for a lot of makers, they're there because like you've got a little bit in your cup, you need somewhere to put it. But overpours are magic. I don't care. And like there will never be another one like this one. You know what I mean? Its layers are, dude. I've got some even here. Like I've got a couple of these bears. That's like be that guy. But like these,
I think that's why
bears,
I like those so much too, man. Oh my God.
There's just something about when you get like the hard lines, but then you also get those drip down. Look how lucky I got too. Right on the freaking nose. Perfect little.
Wow.
I was like, not often that. But yeah, overpours are just, and this one, that right there, that's so sexy.
That hard pink line, yeah.
Damn it, dude. That damn joke. Oh my gosh, dude. You ended up putting this one in the like saved ones.
Yes.
Oh, dude. Okay then. Sagittarius Epic Paint. I've got the fan blowing where it normally doesn't, and one of the toy dudes just took a tumble, but it was the most perfect situation. I hear him fall off the shelf onto a padded chair cushion. I'll take it.
There you go. He just wanted to go for a jump. He just wanted a little jump, a little excitement.
But yeah, these Epic and Sagittarius collaboration, just stupid.
God dang, dude. Epoch's work, dude, is just so. I mean, every time he posts something, I'm like, fuck, dude, look at that.
Well, Sagittarius is just an absolute fantastic painter as well. That
Bro,
husband and wife team is brilliant.
They really are, man. And you know what, dude? Their stuff goes so quick, dude. I was trying to grab something the other day, and I think dude, I saw like 4 minutes after it was posted, gone. The whole run was gone. Got snapped up right away. But yeah, dude, they're a really fun company to buy from. Also here in the States, which is cool. God, dude, the paint work on that. Look at that. That is just stupid, dude.
You know, when this, I feel like, and yes, it's great paintwork, but the sculpt makes it easy. Not like in a bad way. I'm saying like those sculpts are so fucking killer that like it'd be so much fun painting them. Like, how do you not slay it? You know what I mean? Like to do anything less would be
uncivilized.
Uncivilized, yeah. Low tech drop of these guys. The Gold Skull is a wrap. Gold Skull drop tomorrow, 7 p.m. PST.
Yeah, dude. And I know anybody that follows low tech, I know we've been seeing these for a while now, and everybody's been chomping at the bit, dude. And I am one of them. I'm very excited for these to come out.
Yeah, from day one, I remember this might have been one of the first pieces they ended up trying doing, and I think there was like a horror story of the 3D hollow print getting crushed in the vacuum chamber. So long way to get here, man.
He did some finger puppets of those too, I believe.
I believe you're right. Yeah, some minis.
Yeah.
And currently, we were actually talking about Shipman just last week, and coincidentally, as we were talking about their mummy figures, they popped a bunch up into their store. So they've got a couple of pieces up in their store right now. They've got some mummies. They've got a couple of the Branch. Is that his name? He's going to be up in there as well. And then they've also got a couple of these dudes, man. I think these are so much fun. It's a body, like a head swap, right? Normally the bodies are for these little guys here. For some reason, the little Oriani man head on this is just, it works.
Those are cool. Yeah, those are cool.
Shipman's got a style, dude. I never thought I'd look at somebody's work and say, yes, I need stairs. You know? I just didn't think that was going to be something I was like, oh, fuck, yeah, I need some stairs for my toys. But then he puts this out and you're like, yeah, I do. I do need some stairs. Very Nickelodeon in the colorway. Bootleg Toyco, we had them on last week. They were talking about their voodoo witch doctor figure.
Witch doctor, yeah.
There it is. So these have now arrived at their home. They're going to get them all cut up and ready for you guys. Looks like as soon as they're here, they're going to be in the shop. Voodoo Blue and Swamp Venom Yellow. Limited supply. Get them while you can.
Nice.
So yeah, those are going to be absolutely dope, man. Good old Bootleg Toyco just fucking slaying it. New Slime Squatch by Mimmer Toys. Soft vinyl figures available Friday. Oh, yeah, so Friday this week. 10 a.m. PST. Each piece 100% hand sculpted, pulled, assembled, painted, packaged by hand in California.
Look at that.
Nice. Yeah, he's fun. For such a small piece, he's very bulbous.
Yeah.
You know? It's not often we see like
Friday. Oh, this Friday. Nice, at 10 o'clock.
Big, chunky.
Yeah. Cool, man. I love that green on there, too. That's way nice.
Yeah, watermelon.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, cool. What's one of the last ones we got here? Now, this one is a new one for me. Bradford Tantum. 15 inches solid cast resin, and like all others, a one-off DM if interested. Now, this seems to feel like their like go-to figure, but dude,
shit,
like, look how chonky boy that guy is. And like, obviously, there's two different sculpts: the ones that's not wearing any overalls, and the one that's got like the overall style on.
Wow, dude, that sculpting is nuts, dude. Bradford Tatum 5. Nice.
Yeah, brand new one for me here. And just for shits and giggles, if you guys haven't already, go over to Toy de Jour. They've actually got all of the pieces up for the Battle Cat show, Battle Cats in the Universe show. Dirty Yeti slaying it. Dude, I thought, I mean, obviously, as a Swamp Thing fan, I like this, but then you add in whatever the fuck is going on here, and it just elevates it to a whole other level. The wing.
Wow.
You said it before. Wings are dope.
Wow.
Cave Dweller Toys, introducing Toxic Cat, the Hazman. Is their piece. Nice. Saturday from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Boom. Val Vermin. I thought this was pretty fun, man.
Yeah, that's cool too. Man, there's some good work in there, dude. That one from Crimson Guard Immoral. Holy crap, dude.
Well, these aren't even all of them. Admittedly, like, not everybody posted.
Shit.
Bad Chad. This one's fun, man. This one actually reminds me a lot of, and it probably is if I actually just read the caption here like a genius, but I'm not. It looks like the Power Rangers.
Oh, nice. Yeah, dude. Dude, that white with the red eyes, too, is really cool. I think the white on Battle Cat looks really good, man. We saw that one and then the Dirty Yeti one as well. Both very cool.
Nice. You know, I agree. The red eyes on white is dope, but if you're an albino, it is a little much. It's a little off-putting. This one here by Nerfict. They went all out, dude, of course, in their style of what do you even call
Oh
that?
my God.
Bedazzling, or what's the word for like?
That looked like one of those Chinese dragons in the parade, dude, is what that looks like.
Oh, smart.
That is so sick.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, with
Yeah.
the legs up like that.
Wow, man. That is excellent. Holy. And so these are on Toy du Jour, correct?
I believe that they'll be uploading it onto their website. They're all actually up in their shop at the moment. This one's fun as well. But unfortunately, I don't believe they've gotten to posting them all, and it's not all uploaded onto their website yet. I would imagine it's going to take some time to photograph everything and make sure it gets
Yeah.
uploaded. So I just kind of quickly wanted to snag the ones who had made sure that they had posted them. I thought this was fucking jokes, man. Edibot illusions illustration.
Oh, the Calvin and Hobbes, dude. That is great.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Fragner Squad, of course. They're not new to painting anything.
Nah, man, they got some really cool stuff on their website right now too.
You don't think about it, but oddly, just leaving that's something I wouldn't do. Like I haven't tried. I suppose is a better way of putting it. But what a simple way of getting such a sick layering effect right there.
Yeah.
And like, it's almost like a gold dry brushing on it. Fuck. Battle babies. We don't get a chance to see them making too much these days, man. But when they do, it's
Wow.
gonna be usually pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. Yeah, it took me a second to really put together what was happening there.
That is fun.
Alley 6.
Wow, look at that, dude.
Graffiti brickwork.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's cool, man. I like that.
What else we got here? Chris Bryant Customs went very like OG style with it.
Nice, dude.
Rezo O'Brien.
Yeah, nice. God, there's some good
Almost
work.
like Day of the Dead style.
Yeah, I like the kind of the landscape of the Battle Cat too, as far as just it being like a really large landscape
Canvas.
to create. Yeah, canvas. There you go. That's what I'm looking
Well,
for.
the armor adds a whole other element too. Like
Yeah.
how sick is it that they got all this stuff to be able to paint in the fashion they want, but then you remove that and it's like, yeah, that's pretty sick, man.
Yeah.
Donner Don't Care, their submission for the Toy du Jour Battle Cats of the Universe.
Ooh.
Nice, man. Very arcade-esque.
Yeah, man, I like that.
And then extra truck terrestrial. Right? Very ocular rhombus on the paint splatter.
Dude, yeah, that's that I remembered when that paint splatter was like the thing in late 80s, I would say. That was a really big aesthetic.
We all had or knew somebody that had the laser couch. Let's be real.
Oh yeah, dude. Trapper keepers, folders, all kinds of stuff that had that aesthetic to it. But yeah, that was cool, man. Some really good work in there. Toy du Jour, check that one out. Yeah, Ragnar, great painter. I agree, man. That there's a couple of those Ragnar turtles in their shop that have completely different looks. Dude, they go for about 220, something like that. But those are massive pieces, dude, and they are really, really well done. But check that page out if you haven't, or their shop out if you haven't done that in a while. Those are really cool.
Right. Alrighty, dude. What do we got on tap for next week for these chaps?
Next week it's just me and you, man. We're doing solo. We're just doing the old homie show next week, and then the following week we'll do Unhinged Toys on the 24th. But the 17th is just me and you hanging out, buddy.
I'll debate showing up on time tomorrow. Next time.
Just let me know. Just 6-ish. We'll say 6-ish.
Yeah. All right, dudes. Thank you a ton for coming in there. HAG, it was nice meeting you, dude. We are definitely going to pull you in again. Thank you for all the plethora of freaking information. K Woper, you're not going to Decon, are you?
In Pasadena, don't know. Probably not.
See how you're
Probably not.
feeling the weekend, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that are going to be there. I think that's going to be a good show. I think Saturday's already sold out, so that's kind of off the table. Sunday, maybe if you're going for leftovers and stuff. But I mean, there's a few people that I'd like to see in person there. Eddie's coming out, I believe. So there's, but I believe Scott's going to be there from Barbarian Rage. Lots of cool people, man. I mean, for me, it is about the pieces and buying stuff, but I think I've met enough people now to, anytime that people get close within 4 or 5 hours driving distance from me, I'm always got it on the table of, yeah, man, I can shoot out there for the day for sure. But we'll see. It's going to be a good show though. If anybody who's in that area, if you got tickets to that for Saturday, good luck, man. I'm happy for the artist that it sounds like everybody's going to sell. With a full house, dude, this is what you would expect, right?
That's what you'd hope, man. Absolutely. Not the same $20 popping table to table to table. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, dudes. Well, you guys have a great rest of the night, and we'll see you next week.